It is exactly 8:44 a.m. This is News and Views on Salam Media. Now, next on the show, we have Ernst Van Zyl. He is AfriForum's campaign officer for strategy and content. We're going to be looking at the lobby group AfriForum wanting the Equality Court to investigate Julius Malema and the EFF for perjury after he said under oath that neither he nor his party would be able to afford the 500,000 penalty sought by the group for hate speech. Ernst Van Zyl, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you for having us on.
Okay, give us the context to this court case, and why is it that you're wanting him to be perjured in this matter?
Right, so just maybe the quick context there. This court case is regarding the singing of Kill the Boer, and this is a case that AfriForum started against or brought against the EFF, Ndlozi and Malema. And in this case, as you correctly observed, Julius Malema, the leader of the EFF, claimed under oath that the EFF, neither him nor the EFF have the money to be able to afford the 5,000 Rand fine that AfriForum are asking if he is found guilty. Now, I think most of the listeners will know, but for those that don't, before you take the stand in a court case, when you are going to be cross-examined, you take an oath that you will speak only the truth and nothing but the truth. And that's not something to be taken lightly. That's not just you standing there and saying, "Oh well, I'll try my best." You are taking an oath, and if you lie or misrepresent the facts or say something that is not true under oath, that makes you guilty of perjury. So that's what's going on here, and that's what AfriForum are pursuing. Because what Julius Malema said, the fact that he claimed that the EFF and he don't have enough money to be able to pay the fine isn't just a flippant comment. It is something that is very serious.
Ernest, how can
On the
AfriForum,
court
can you
case
hear me?
itself. If it's not, then he's definitely. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now you just froze there for a minute. Do you just want to repeat
Sorry.
what you said?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say there. So saying under oath that they don't have the money to pay the fine is definitely not something flippant. It's not just a comment that can be thrown away. It is something serious because it will have an impact on the court case itself. So that's why AfriForum is pursuing this now. But that doesn't mean that the perjury charge is going to form part of this court case. AfriForum will ask that it is referred to the prosecuting authority, and that will then be a different case.
So we're looking at two issues right here and now.
Yes, the one
perjury
originating
case,
from the original, yes.
absolutely. Let's look at the issue about, Julius Malema saying that he can't afford to pay the 500,000 Rand, neither can the EFF. What steps is AfriForum going to take to prove him wrong? Do you kind of follow the money trail? Do you then go and access his bank accounts, etc., to prove that he is in fact lying? And then you will have more substance to the perjury case, will you not?
Yes, well, as I understand it, seeing as we haven't opened that perjury case yet, as I understand it, that will all come to the fore in that case when if that case is then referred to a prosecuting authority, we will then convene with our legal team in regards to determining what we can and cannot do to strengthen our case. And then we will, in that separate case, the facts will then be investigated and brought to the fore. It will also, there will also, as I understand it, be a weight on Julius Malema's shoulders to prove his assertion that they don't have the money to be able to pay it. So there will also be evidence from his side or an absence of evidence that will all come out in this case if it were to be referred to the prosecuting authority. So all those details will be determined in the lead up to that case if it were to happen.
Okay, chances that it will happen?
Well, I'm no legal expert, but as I understand it, I think there's a very good chance, seeing as this is from how I see it, a very clear case of perjury. It is someone saying something that is very likely to be not true under oath, and that's what will be investigated in this case. If AfriForum didn't feel strongly about the facts here, we wouldn't be even talking about perjury.
Yeah, and it kind of also makes one question the fact that a political leader can so blatantly, uh, you know, uh, uh, and lightly uh, go to court and make such statements that, he can't afford, or his party can't afford to pay the 500,000 rands, knowing that he wears designer clothing all of the time. And the headline actually said, Gucci wearing Malema must be probed for lying to court when pleading poverty over the 500,000 hate speech claim. Let me understand this correctly, Ernest. Is it Julius Malema in his personal capacity that needs to pay up the 500,000 rand, or is it Julius Malema and the EFF? How does that work?
Yes, so that will be in the previous case, or the case that's currently ongoing. That will have to be the EFF, Julius Malema, together paying the fine, seeing as they are all the accused in this case. And when it comes to whether they can pay it or not, there, as you mentioned, is a lot of circumstantial evidence to prove that they can in fact do it. And I think also something that's very important to note is that we can't live in a country where politicians can just think that they are above the law. They can just go and under oath say anything they want. There will be no consequences. That will undermine the entire legal system and will be contemptuous of the legal system. So that's why this is also very important to show that whether you are a politician or a regular guy on the street, when you are under oath in a court case, you speak the truth, and you don't just say things flippantly or trivially, thinking that there will be no consequences.
Okay, another thing that jumps out at me is that during the court proceedings that took place on the 18th of February, Malema told the Equality Court sitting in the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg that AfriForum would have to pay reparations first. I repeat that AfriForum would have to pay reparations first before his party paid the 500,000 penalty sought by AfriForum regarding this hate speech case. Now, what's that all about? What reparation is he talking about?
Well, that's a very typical politicking comment. It's one of those soundbite comments that politicians like to do, because then everyone's going to quote him, and it's going to be very, very nice for the headlines. But there's not really any substance in it. There's no grounds for any type of legislation in South Africa regarding reparations from AfriForum. It's again, like I said, it's a flippant comment. It's like one of those little sound bites that more populist politicians like to throw out. They don't really mean it. They just want to use it as a tool to get their quote in the headlines and to get people talking and to get people interested, because it's nice and dramatic, and it gives them it gives the journalist something nice to put in their article. But there's absolutely no substance there. It's not a serious policy proposal, and it's not a serious idea. It's more of just a little soundbite comment that politicians so often make.
So, Ernest, both you and I are not don't come from a legal background at all. Chances that this will in fact go ahead. We do know that people who have to appear in court use all sorts of delaying tactics when eventually, after a long period of time, the case get thrown out of court. What are the chances that Julius Malema and the EFF will use any and every delaying tactic under the sun to try and get this thrown out? And how are you as AfriForum prepared for those type of tactics?
Mm. Well, there's a very high likelihood that they will, Julie. But the other thing is, it's not the first time that AfriForum takes someone to court, and they do use those tactics. So we are well equipped to be able to deal with them in regards to trying to delay and trying to throw the court proceedings off course. When it comes to this, it's really just a matter of persistence. AfriForum has a focus on getting the results, and we have a focus on helping justice win in this regard. So it's not like they can just break our patience. We are a very patient organization, and the EFF will realize that if they try to just unnecessarily prolong this court case and the rule of law.
My final question then. Chances that this gets settled out of court by whatever means, maybe Julius Malema approaches AfriForum, offers an apology, asks AfriForum to waive, if that fine can be waived, or whatever settlement he decides to come up with. What are the chances of that happening?
I think the chances are very low because in this case, AfriForum wants to send a public message that you can't just go on a public platform and call for the killing of an entire group of people and to incite violence in this country. That's not constitutionally protected speech. And that's the message that AfriForum wants to send with this court case, and that it is not okay to do that, whether you are a regular man or just or a very high profile politician. That's not something that will be tolerated, and it's not something that will just be settled I think privately. I think with this court case specifically, there will have to be a public message sent out, and that's what AfriForum are hoping for with the judgment. Unfortunately, I can't give you a date on when we expect the judgment. This week was now the conclusionary remarks and arguments, so now it's up to the judge. It could be within a month, it could be within a year. There's no guarantee. It will all depend on how long the judge takes to get to his conclusion. But when he does, and when that judgment is brought down, AfriForum will let the public know. So you can just keep an eye on our social media.
Absolutely, will do. Nice talking with you once again. Ernst Van Zyl, AfriForum's campaign officer for strategy and content. Do appreciate your time. Go well.
Goodbye, Julie. Have a nice day. Walk well.
Keep warm. It's exactly 8:56. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali. On the hour at exactly 9 o'clock, we are going to be talking with Zahi Jadwit, bringing us the news bulletin. But I also want to remind one and all, it's just a pity that we didn't get this information a little earlier, but it is an interview that I would like to have pursued, and that is the issue around World Elderly Awareness Day. Maybe I can share some of that information with you a little later in the program. We have a message on Facebook from Sakumzi Mtombeni, and this is what the message says. I think racism is learned early on in development, and children receive many messages about race and racism from a young age. Kids pick up on what their parents and teachers say and don't say, who and what they see on TV, what their dolls look like, and how other people are treated in their schools and neighborhoods. Humans are sponges for their social environment. Fortunate in Islam, racism, tribalism, nationalism, or whatever ism that has got to do with any type of discrimination is forbidden. Beautiful message indeed, and that was posted on Facebook. It is 8:57 a.m. exactly. Stay with us. We're going to take an ad break, and then we'll be joined by Zahi Jadwit.